The Astros have seen every scenario. They've seen another team twice celebrate on their field. They've been able to celebrate one in Dodger Stadium and one in Houston, but they've seen every single outcome. They've seen a walk-off to go to the World Series. They've seen getting destroyed in a World Series against so no scenario is going to surprise these group of guys where all these other teams coming in to the dance, this would be their first time. And so I think that's what makes them dangerous once they punch that ticket. Welcome back to Beyond the Diamond, the Nick Scurfield episode. Nick Scurfield in-house, in studio. The man of Houston. I'm just going to say that. It's just, he's everywhere. He's absolutely everywhere.
I don't know, whatever you want to call me, Des, but appreciate being on here with you, man. This is very exciting. Long-time listener, first-time caller type of scenario here, but big fan of what you guys do with Apollo, and obviously just started doing the Texans podcast.
Yeah.
Remember the Texans with
Remember
you guys
the Texans
on your network, which is awesome. So excited to come and talk some Astros baseball here with you.
Absolutely. Make sure you like, subscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, and leave that 5-star review for Remember the Texans. Obviously, you're watching this. It's on our YouTube channel, so you've already seen it as well. This episode is brought to you by Big City Wings and Celebrity Mint. Big City Wings, a Houston's wing joint, Apollo wing joint. Sam will always take care of you. His friends and family over there. Gridiron specials on Saturday. It's football season. The Astros down the stretch with 11-12 games. And literally the best specials in the city, and they're everywhere. Find one near you at bigcitywings.com. And our new sponsor, Celebrity Mint. I'm excited for this one because it's a project that we're both part of. We're both helping out with. I can't really give a lot of details yet, but what Kenny Duncan Jr. is doing over there, and Matthew Duncan, super excited to be able to show and tell everyone what they're doing here in a few weeks.
Hell yeah, they're doing something that nobody else has ever done, and
Never.
It'll all be coming out soon. But they're the family-owned business, U.S. Coins and Jewelry. This is a new venture for them in the collectible space. I'll just say the shirt I'm wearing.
The shirt is an Easter
egg.
egg.
To that, the Ric Flair Astros shirt, that is an Easter egg, and you can. So my firm is helping to work on the PR front and social media wise, and Des, you're a big part of that whole team with the content, the strategy, and doing what you do. And so we're really excited, and definitely going to be a lot of fun things coming there.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to be able to showcase that. So shout out Celebrity Mint. Shout out Big City Wings. Nick, let's just get into it real quick. Your journey this season as a fan, tell the numbers to everyone. Listen, you had a goal set.
I did.
Of how many games you wanted to be at as a season ticket holder, and we're at the number.
We're almost at the number. So I've been a season ticket holder for a few years now, and went to every playoff game last year, and went to I think 31 last year. When I first got season tickets, it was 2018. I bought my season tickets so that I could get World Series tickets to see Game 5 of the Astros versus the Dodgers, maybe the greatest World Series game ever. And then I had season tickets pretty much since then. And the first year I had them, I set a lofty goal of 50 games. And I wanted to try to hit it. I didn't come anywhere close. I made like 25 or something like that. And then, that number went down. And then last year I hit 31. I thought I was really doing well. I set before this season a goal of 41 games. There's 81 home games. 41 would be just more than half. 41 is also a good luck number of mine. It's a long story. But and I didn't think I had a chance. But and I went to Europe for a month in July. Came back and I realized I had a fighting shot at this thing. So I'm now, as we're recording this, I am 39 games in. And I will be going to the last dollar dog night of the season tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to. And then Wednesday, the day game, which is the best. That'll be my 41. So knock on wood, something doesn't get in the way of that. But yeah, I'm gonna. It's a stretch goal, and I'm almost there.
41. So. That's impressive.
My girlfriend's not so thrilled with it. But, yeah.
But you're getting your investment back if you think about it on your season tickets.
Yeah.
The experience.
Yeah.
Is there a steak dinner you're gonna treat yourself for hitting this goal? Is there an excuse to have a pretty nice meal somewhere?
Hopefully, I'm gonna treat myself to some playoff games,
yes.
And another World Series parade. But we'll talk more about. Obviously, there's some things that gotta get figured out. But I should do something to treat myself. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. I think I'll tell you, I've been eating a lot of pretzels, a lot of hot dogs. Drinking lots of smart water.
A lot of smart water.
I don't drink alcohol, so it's nice. I save some money on the beer, but maybe my break will just be taking a break from all the carbs from the game. But helping
Shout out
my
Sweet
diet
Green.
a
Go to
little
Sweet
bit.
Green and get a salad.
I went to Sweet Green last night, actually.
Proud sponsor. Of
The Kale Caesar, man. Don't sleep on that.
Everything slaps there. Like every time I'm like, literally, it's like just make a bowl for me. Like I trust. I'm just like, take this. I'm hungry. You just make this bowl, and they just
Great sponsors, by the way, between Big City Wings, Celebrity Mint, Sweet Green. Love Big City Wings. Sam, man, they're doing big things. But yeah, man, I don't know if I'll ever go to this many games again. And I know there are fans that have gone to like every single game.
Right.
I got people. I sit in section 105 in the left field corner. It used to be Keichel's corner. Great section. A lot of diehards there, and there's people in my section that go to every single game, and they get there right when the gates open, and they're there for batting practice. They're catching fly balls. I'm not quite at that level, but I love going to the games. I live downtown. I was going through a divorce a couple years ago. I started going to more and more games because it was kind of a nice outlet for me. And man, the Astros have just been so much fun to watch, And obviously, this season's had some ups and downs, but we're still in first right now, right?
So still in first. I think the big thing, and we'll jump in the season here in a second, but I wasn't hyperbole when I say you're just a man of Houston. Help found Trillburgers. You have your PR firm that pretty much covers every major brand and player in the city of Houston, but also your back history with the Texans as well. But I think you being able to like go to the games, I think is really cool because you wear so many hats and do so many different things and have so many projects going on that you can still just sneak away to a ball game and hit 41 of them is the goal, and to be right there with two games, today's Dollar Dog Day and then tomorrow's day game to hit that goal. That's pretty damn impressive in itself.
Yeah, well, and I will fully admit I do not stay for the whole game during baseball season, and people can give me shit about this if they want, but football, I'm like very regimented and strict. Like I'm going to be there before kickoff. I'm staying there till the end. It's a little harder with baseball season when you got 162 games in a season. You don't know when the games are going to end at all. And so it's all, even if I pop in like the third inning, and the shorter games are kind of helpful this year as well. Or I might leave early for a game, but not the case for the playoffs, but I've actually, so my erstwhile assistant, Andy, is sitting over here. Shout out to Andy Gambini, the man who makes it all happen at the Scurfield Group. Andy's over here, and I actually I had to specifically talk to Andy about putting every Astros home game on my calendar. We had this conversation a couple months ago, maybe. Andy? Yeah.
Was that manual? Did you manually have to input that? Or?
Originally I did, and then I figured out a little trick.
Okay, I'm gonna have to hit you up on that because we were gonna do that for our big calendar, and like we got to like April. I'm like, nope. Like we'll just figure that one out as it goes.
So I got to say thank you to Andy for otherwise,
Andy.
because if it's not on my calendar, like it's almost never going to happen. And so I will prioritize and plan around as much as I can. It gets harder when you got a 12-game homestand or whatever it is. But yeah, it's been really great. I love going to the games. I love my section. I got my good buddy Bobby Pawanka, who used to work at Eighth Wonder, who shares some of the tickets with me, and it's just we've been fortunate to have such a great team. The last 6 years plus. That man, it's awesome to go as many as I can, and I don't know how much longer I'll be living downtown, so I'm making the most of it
making
now.
The most of it.
And I think my number might go down drastically next year, but we'll see.
Speaking of the vibes in the stadium, coming off a World Series win, how has it been as a fan in the stands with all the pressure in the world for this fan base has put on the team to repeat for the first time since the 90s with the Yankees? Has it been tense? Do you feel the urgency and the how this year's been so different compared to the other 6 golden years?
I mean, I will say that I think last year that World Series title got a huge monkey off the Astros' back. I think the city as a whole, I mean, we know that no matter what came out of the whole trash can scandal, we're still the 2017 World Series champs. I've got my Jose Altuve MVP hat on here that, he gets so much flack from people and it became the face of that cheating scandal when, he didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
And such like a role model, I think, and just A+, character guy. But, I think that, I will say the games have been packed. Like, I mean, there's, you'll have like a Monday game against the A's coming off a weekend series where there's not that many people. But I think Astros fans have really, shown out this season. But, I don't know, man. It's, I went to 2 World Series games in Philly last year. Went to all 3 World Series games in Atlanta a couple years ago, and more home World Series losses than I could care to count. But
Yeah.
Washington and all that. But I think that there's a high bar, a high expectation. Sometimes I wouldn't mind the fans getting a little more riled up. I think that you see a lot of frustration on Twitter with some things, some lineup decisions and all that. But man, I think overall it's been, I think people have been really enjoying, the fact that we are the defending World Series champs. For me, there's always been this feeling of even when we're not winning as many games early in the season, we're not where we dip in the standings, we're going to figure it out come this part of the year. Now, as the last few weeks have gone, I think, people are starting to get more tense for sure. I mean, I don't know about you, man, but it's getting a little hairy, and we got a race on our hands, and looking at the prospect of, could win our division or could not make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tough. As we're recording on the 19th, it's a 1.5 game lead over the Rangers and Seattle with 11 games to go, and you have 2 more with the Baltimore Orioles. Which, talking about the game on the 18th, a game dropped in late September is kind of just a watermark. But I think with so much that was so zeroed in on last night's game because they have to win now, it felt like a real playoff game for the first time, and I felt the energy through the TV. I'll be in the stadium on tomorrow. That's the 20th for the day game.
I love the day games, man.
I think I've only missed 1 day game this year.
I love the day games.
And they've been packed. They have been absolutely packed. And so I'm excited to see that stadium in a pre-playoff atmosphere. But playoffs are not guaranteed. It's not a birthright. And I think the last 6-7 years have kind of spoiled all of us. And we've kind of forgotten that, like, hey, you got to earn October. And the Astros really got to earn it with 11 games to go because it's a little tight. Margin's a little tight right now.
Yeah. We've definitely gotten comfortable and complacent, and I was I don't know about complacent, but comfortable. And I was even just looking at the banners in left field. I was at a game with someone the other day, and who I don't think had been to a game in a long time, and they were asking me about the banners and what's, the gold ones are World Series and the orange ones are from when we made the World Series. And, there was a time when we had all our division championships out there, all the pennants out there. And now it's only if we've been to the World Series, right?
Yeah, those are now up in like the 400s, just
right.
like on a random wall. Yeah,
it's like they're, so, man, and it's like it's interesting because the pitching, which was such a strength last year. I mean, that was like, it almost seemed like it came out of nowhere because the Astros lineup has been so prodigious over the years. But man, the pitching was awesome, and then you got guys balling out, then you got guys struggling, and then obviously a lot of injuries.
Yeah,
it was electric last night. I was only at the Monday night game against the Orioles for a part of it because I went to the Drake.
You got to go break Drake news.
You
had to go break Drake news.
Well, I tweeted during the show. Drake announced it was night 2 of his concert at Toyota Center, and Trill Burgers was catering for Drake's crew after, and I found my way to the concert, and he said, "Hey, I wanted to tell everyone on night 2, I'm moving," or he didn't say he's moving. He said, I found a place to live in Houston. And he said, I found a place to live in Houston, Texas, so y'all be seeing me around. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I tweeted it, and then it just caught like wildfire. And next thing you know, there's all these news stories and news outlets sending me Twitter messages and text messaging, hey, can we use your video? And I woke up to a TikTok. I posted on TikTok around like midnight, woke up at like 8 a.m. and there was like 500,000 views on it. It was like, so people were really excited about Drake coming to Houston, I think. So, yeah.
I mean, so are you OVO Nick now? Like, are you part of the OVO crew?
I don't think so. I mean, that would be awesome. But I met Drake for like 1.5 seconds at Trill Burgers.
At Trill Burgers, yeah.
When he went, and thank you for the shout out on Trill earlier. That was he went on Juneteenth, and Bun B had told us he might be coming. He introduced me and my partner Andy to him. It was nice meeting him, and he was super gracious at Trill. So maybe hopefully we'll see Drake at Trill Burgers more often
That'd
if he's
be
back in
sick.
H-Town. So
That'd be sick.
we gotta bring burgers in the studio here.
We have, yes.
You know,
I also want like the box. I just want that box as well, just to put up because you guys have great like that.
Yeah.
With Bun B on the box and just.
You've got a limited edition hat that I don't know if you still have, but I gave
do.
you a blue and orange Astros Trill Burgers hat. We don't make those anymore. So, but
It's in my office.
You know, I'm honored. But as we're sitting here, you know, we've got the Matt Schaub jersey, the Derek Stingley jersey, and I've mentioned that to Noah. I think that when we do the Texans podcast, got to bring some burgers in. So I got to stop talking about that and actually bring some burgers one of these days.
I'm
man.
down.
Yeah.
I'm down for the burgers. The Dusty Baker disclosure, and you don't have to pick a side because I feel like the internet is trying to get everyone to fall into a camp, but it's been a big topic this year.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I've been hypercritical of Dusty Baker throughout the years, and I actually met him during the lockout. We were EPing on this thing that's coming out and got to be at Dusty Baker's house in South Florida and got to meet him. And afterwards, I was like, hey, like, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I know. I was like, by the way, I was kind of super critical of you on the internet. He goes, I know. He's like, everyone is. He's like, I'm used to it. And literally, I just like, I apologized to him and said that because really early on, I was super, super critical, not knowing that I'd eventually meet the guy. But right now on the internet, it just feels like you're either a Team Dusty or not. And like, it's being divided where I think there's a middle ground where, yes, I think there's been player development, player roster construction that is very questionable. But at the end of the day, like, I think you got to give faith to the defending World Series champion manager that he's going to be able to make and choose the right decisions down the stretch. And if he doesn't and his time's up, you know, you tip your cap, say thank you for everything, and you get the next guy. But I think you just got to keep giving him the benefit of the doubt until there's all doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of Dusty, actually, I met him last year. Trill Burgers got to cater for the Astros baseball ops staff right after the regular season before the playoffs, a little celebration thing they did. And so Dusty was there, James Click was there, and I was wearing the same hat, and Dusty said, I like that hat. And I told him, thank you. I told him I worked at Dodger Stadium one time, and he just said, man, you're brave for that. He's like, and anyway, super nice guy. Obviously, he's a beloved guy, like anywhere he's been for decades, right? All throughout the game of baseball. And I mean, man, you know, I hear it a lot. You know, I mean, obviously you hear it probably more than me, but just being in the stadium, on Twitter or X, whatever.
Yeah, whatever we call it.
I'm still going to call it Twitter.
I'm going to call it Twitter.
Yeah, sorry, Elon. But I think, you know, on group text with friends, it's like it's divisive. Like I got, you know, a pretty diehard Astros group text I'm on, and one of the guys is always, I mean, he's just always saying, can't believe that, you know, we're still playing Maldi, and, you know, why aren't we playing D? And then Chas McCormick, like that whole, you know, that whole thing. I mean, you look at the Orioles game last night, you know, like Adley Rutschman, that's his name, right? Am I saying that right? Obviously stud catcher, you know, for the Orioles, one of the top prospects in baseball that got called up, having a great season. And Diaz's numbers are as good, if not better than his in like a fraction of the at-bats, right? But, you know, of course, Verlander wants to pitch with Maldonado, right? And he's a guy who's a leader in the clubhouse. But yeah, man, I'm torn on it because it's like you said, you want to say, look, the guy won the World Series, so until further notice, you got to give him I think you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But then you see people saying, well, you know, he's always been this way, and that's why he never, you know, got run out everywhere else he went or whatever. But, you know, I think at this point, it's like we're not going to be able to change Dusty's mind on anything he's doing anyway. So
he's not tuning into Twitter.com to see you as he's filling out the lineup card to see whatever his opinions
he might
are.
just be laughing and like smoking a cigar or something.
He
you
could.
know? But
I could see that.
But and with his middle finger, I don't know. But I think that for me, I'm gonna be backing him and hope and trust that he figures it out. You know, I think that the Astros have had a lot of injuries this year. I mean, Altuve was out for a long time. Jordan's been out. Look at the pitching, obviously, which
Brantley's been out.
Oh man, yeah, and you know, some of the free agent signings like Abreu hasn't worked out like we wanted, but he's had some stretches recently, you know, where he's been better. And I mean,
I think it's a miracle to be where we are right now at 1.5.
Yeah,
with 11 to go with all the listed things you just said that have gone wrong this season.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean that's what we expect, right? And we have been playing up to our competition. It seems like, or down to our competition, which gives you confidence. I don't think there's a team in the AL the Astros can't beat. In a
100%.
playoff series, you'd like to be playing games at home, right? But I saw your prediction a month or two ago where you said that Astros were going to win the division, Rangers are going to miss the playoffs completely.
Yeah.
And Dez, I'm sitting here today saying that shit's still going to happen, man.
Okay.
It's coming
well,
true.
that's a reassurance I needed to
It's
hear.
coming. It's going to happen, man. This is Astros season. This is the Astros portion of the calendar right now, and I think until they don't, I'm going to be believing that they're going to get it done.
I think with this team, and we'll see it hopefully when they do make it to the playoffs, is I think it's once they're in, it's all the pressure in the world's off.
And nobody's going to want to play the
and
Astros.
no one wants to play the Astros when the calendar turns to October. So I really do feel like punch your ticket, get in the dance, and then just go. It really feels like when the Golden State Warriors were everyone's like, oh, they're going to win 70-something games. They won 55, and then they won the title. You just get in and appreciate greatness for what it is. And I'm always going to give this team and this core the benefit of the doubt because they know how to win. They know how to win in October. They know how to play in these big a lot of these teams don't realize especially in a 3-game series if you're in the wild card, every moment, every out is amplified. Yeah. The Astros have seen every scenario. They've seen another team twice celebrate on their field. They've been able to celebrate one in Dodger Stadium, one in Houston, but they've seen every single outcome. They've seen a walk-off to go to the World Series. They've seen getting destroyed in a World Series against so no scenario is going to surprise these group of guys where all these other teams coming in to the dance, this would be their first time. And so I think that's what makes them dangerous once they punch that ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you can look at, the NL and say, oh, there's no way the Astros could compete with the Braves right now. You could say that about any team pretty much just because of how loaded the Braves are. I mean, it's the numbers they've had are insane, right? The Dodgers, right? They're loaded again. I mean, I think, but then, I've thought that in years past, oh man, we don't want to play so-and-so. And then they lose in the first round of the playoffs, I thought when we played Atlanta in the World Series a couple years ago, that was going to be easy win, right? I think a lot of people did. And of course they beat the Dodgers, who was the big juggernaut. So all bets are off once you get to the playoffs, right? And I don't think you can worry about what's on the other side in the AL. I mean, I think the Orioles and the Mariners, but the Orioles have our old AGM, Mike Elias. I mean, they've got that front office that they pulled from the Astros. Mike is actually a second or third cousin once removed of mine or something.
Oh, really?
Our grandmothers were first cousins. And I met him one time. We found this out randomly years ago.
That's pretty cool.
But I met him once. We got lunch at Ninfa's when he was with the Astros. Awesome guy. And, he went to Yale. I mean, he's he's brilliant. And when they signed him, obviously I'm biased because I had a small connection there. But, I mean, they've got to figure it out. And they're on the same trajectory the Astros were. They even almost made the playoffs last year. It reminded me of when the Astros made the playoffs a couple years early back in 2015, I think. And, people didn't expect it, but they did. I mean, they're loaded. They've been nailing their draft picks, but we've shown we can beat them. Yeah. We'll see what happens at Dollar Dog Night tonight. And then also during that day game. But, the Astros have shown they can beat the Orioles. And I really think, like you said, if we get into the playoffs, anything's possible. Yeah,
and I think the big thing, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on the pod, is the script writers have put it perfect for the AL West this year because the Astros they go 3 with Kansas City, 3 in Seattle, and then 3 with Arizona, or 4 with Arizona, whatever it is. And meanwhile, the Rangers and Seattle play 7 games of the final 10 together.
Jeez.
So one of those teams get hot and takes majority of those, they could be in the catbird seat and they can win the division if the Astros don't control their own destiny. And the other side, too, if they're just splitting games, the Astros could just zip right past and get a comfortable division. So it's this race is so in a vacuum going down. We play 162, but now only 11 games matter. Throw out everything else. Throw out everyone's production in the last 150. What can you do for me in this last 11 and go from there? Because people forget. Last year, I know a lot of people wanted Yuli to come back, but Yuli had a terrible regular season, but had a great playoffs. And that's the only thing what people remember. And I think that's what goes with these next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You could have Jeremy Pena get hot and take over, and people were complaining about, he's not hitting home runs this year. He has 2 or 3 home runs over the next 11 games. People were like, he's so bad.
Right.
And that's, I think, just how.
And that's what every time Pena has gotten a hit in like the last 3 weeks, I'm like, he's back.
Yeah,
He's back.
he's
It's
warming
playoff
up.
Pena. It's playoff Pena.
He had Jose Abreu on the 18th hit a tank dead central. Like, legitimately stood up on one. I was like, oh, wow, okay. If you get this Jose Abreu down the stretch,
Right.
this is the money you spent in December. You're getting your dividends now. It's a little late, but screw it. Like, make sure you maximize these last 11 games. And so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see Diaz a little bit more. But Brantley's back. I think that's a huge thing. How's that been? Because he plays right in front of you in your season seats.
Yeah. I'm over there in the left field corner. It's great, man. I mean, like Uncle Mike, I appreciate that there's a player or two still out there that have a birthday that are somewhat close to mine. Like I think Brantley's born in like 86 or 87, which I was born in 85. I just feel old as hell when I go to these games now. I remember seeing Julio Rodriguez born in the year 2000 up on the scoreboard.
That's a tough one.
Like,
That's a tough one to see.
It was. But so I appreciate that, just from an age standpoint, from an ageism viewpoint. But it's awesome. I mean, he had a bomb in one of his first games back. It gets overused, including by me all the time. But he's just a professional hitter, man.
He would roll out of bed and hit 300.
Yeah, and that's the guy in the playoffs. Even if you've got him, coming off the bench. Hopefully he's able to be in a starting position, but that's, when you look at what the lineup could be, and a guy like Pena is going to be his second postseason if we make the playoffs. Maybe he's one of those guys that just turns on, like Correa and George Springer. Not that they were bad in the regular season, but those guys were next level in the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Pena, so.
We equated that to like a group project and the person not doing anything the entire group project, but they presented to the class and they had the charisma and this perfect way to tell a story, and they killed it on the project. And everyone in the class was like, we were so mad at you because you didn't do any work, but you presented it so well to the teacher that we all got
It's like
A's.
when Trey Mancini made that crazy play at first base last year.
100%.
In
Worth the
World
trade.
Series, yeah.
Worth the trade right there in the moment.
That was it.
No, so it's very tough to, because at this point in the past years, we've been able to lock down, like, all right, we're going to be in the LDS so-and-so day. We,
Right.
pretty much know our schedule. The uncertainty and the unknown of this season has kind of made this year exciting for me. I really didn't have like a World Series hangover in the content world because every game has mattered, where like in the summertime in years past, and pull the curtain back for everyone watching at Apollo, like I would just be bored. I'm like, we're up 20 games. We're on a West Coast road trip. We're playing Oakland. Like, I'm like,
Right.
do we really have to do this piece of content? Where this year, I'm like, this summer flew by because I was like, wow, I have to stay up and watch all these games. I have to do all these different things because we're in this tight of a race. And as stressful it is, and I've probably taken a few years off my life, but like, I've enjoyed it. I really have.
Yeah, I went to USC, and it's been a long time since we've had a football team really worth watching. But now I was there in the Reggie Bush, like Matt Leinart days, which might be longer than a lot of people can remember right now. But we might have lost to UT in the Rose Bowl, but I don't want to talk about that. But I remember going to the games like my freshman, sophomore year, and we were just blowing teams out like 42-0 or like 55-10 against Arkansas, even when they had like I think Darren McFadden or Felix Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stupid what they were doing, and it was after a while it was kind of boring. It's like I kind of wanted a close game where we almost lost but didn't lose.
Yeah.
And yeah, every game has meant something, and especially right now. And we've obviously had some huge, highs this year with the Framber's no-no. We got to see another World Series banner. Obviously, we got JV back. That's the same day Framber had the no-no.
Yeah.
Right? So it's and it's just so much fun to see Yordan Alvarez hit home runs, man.
It really is.
And Kyle Tucker has been having. He's like the low-key like MVP dark horse. I feel like for next year, maybe for the next like 5 years.
Yeah,
you know?
we knew Otani to get out of the American League to give everyone else a chance. But
Yeah, and maybe he'll come down to Houston. You know,
maybe he wants to win.
that's what
Shohei, I will drive you around the entire city like that. I will quit everything and I will be your personal driver.
I'll tag along in the past. Well,
Let's give him an unlimited Trill Burgers pass.
Yeah. Yes, I can say Shohei Ohtani can eat at Trill Burgers anytime he wants. So
There we go. Look, we're building a little. Everyone in the comments.
I'll check with Bun B on that, but I think we'll get the go
for
on that.
Ohtani for sure.
Yeah. We can. I mean, it could happen.
It could
you know?
happen.
It's not going to happen. But,
It's not.
But man, Tucker is awesome to watch.
He really is.
You know, who would have thought that when we lost all these other guys over the years that we now have our, you know, two of the best young hitters in baseball. They're both left-handers, by the way. So I mean, we got guys, and Altuve has been mashing.
Oh my gosh, we were robbed of MVP season. Really, I mean, I don't know if it would have been like sustainable over 162, but in this 70-something games he's played, it's like a 3.8 WAR, like on pace that would have been his
Almost
career
had
high.
another home run last night in the Monday game, which was you know, whatever. But yeah, man, he's that's the other thing. That's a guy who, if he's playing like that, if he's playing, and I kept thinking last year during the World Series he was going to really break out. It didn't really happen, but we won. But man, like if he is playing at this level or even more, which we've seen in the past, like that's the guy that can carry your team. Alex
100%.
Bregman's a guy who seems like he lives for the clutch moments, you know?
Got his WAR over 5, top player in the league. Like, I feel like you just got to get into the dance with this team because any one of these guys could take over a series, and it gets fun at that moment.
Yeah, hell, Chas McCormick could be the World Series
Yeah,
MVP.
I want to touch on that before we wrapped up. The players that stepped up this season, because one, there's a navigation of all the expectations, all that. Then players getting injured with Luis going down, Lance going down, Altuve going down, Jordan going down, Brantley being down.
Jeez.
You had an all-star team pretty much on the IL, but you had the Mauricio Dubons, you had the Chas McCormicks, you had all these people step up. You had JP France come in. You had all these people that were just thrusted into a starting role or whatever it is, and have been able to succeed and carry it throughout the season. It wasn't just a flash in the pan. They've been able to. Chas McCormick is one of the best center fielders in the game, or
Right.
left fielder, where you want to slot him. JP France literally has done what we thought Hunter Brown was going to do, and
Right.
is going to get Rookie of the Year votes, probably top 3, top 4. And then you had Mauricio Dubon, who just was thrust into the super utility role and had like a 20-something game hit streak to start the season off and hold down second until Altuve got back.
Yeah. I'm looking at my phone as you're talking because I had to check out his stats. I have JP France on my fantasy teams because I picked him up early in the year. When you talk about that, he's one of the first guys that comes to mind for me. I mean, great mustache, by the way.
Great mustache.
Great glasses. Great look, JP France. And what was he? Is 27? How old is he?
28.
28.
So a journeyman.
28-year-old rookie. I mean, and how about? And I know he hasn't been playing much, but the fact that John Singleton came back this year,
Great story.
out of the abyss after like 7-8 years. I mean, but man, and hitting the home run, but JP France, I think you look at the pitching, like losing JV right to the Mets, then getting him back. Urquidy getting hurt. Yeah, Lance McCullers on 4. I mean, man, Lance had been balling out so much last year as well, you know. But Luis Garcia getting hurt, right? And like you said, Hunter Brown is like the next JV or baby Verlander. And I think JP France, he doesn't have the huge strikeout numbers, but he's been so rock solid.
Dog.
And I'll say I love watching our relievers, man, like Abreu, Neris, like those guys. But, you know, I think you look at Chas. I mean, he made the iconic catch, you know, in the
Probably
World
the greatest
Series.
catch in Astros
Yeah, with like the
history.
Jesus apparition or
Yeah.
whatever it was in the, you know, in the outfit. I mean, I still am not sure if that photo was like photoshopped or what.
It doesn't make sense when you look at it, but
It's like the Shroud of Turin, you know. It's like anyway. But Dubon, man, like I love his walk-up song. I don't know what it is, but I don't really speak Spanish, but I feel like I sing that song every time, and it's he's great because he plugs in all over the place too,
Yeah.
you know. And he was having such a good year that's almost like, how are you going to sit this guy when Altuve comes back? And they found places to play him. So I do think guys have stepped up, you know, and you know, it's I don't know, man. I think that this team does have some depth to it.
Yeah,
know?
it really does.
And I think that for me, because we lost to Ledmus Diaz, right? I didn't realize he was on the A's, and then it's good to see him. He was like a utility guy.
Yep.
But you think about it, like if this team's healthy, we've got options. We got guys that have shown they can do it, and that's going to help us in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. Gotta punch the ticket.
Yeah.
Um,
That would help us in the playoffs. I'll just say that. Yeah.
Want to plug your socials. First off, just thanks for coming in. 2, make sure everyone tuning in to Remember the Texans. Nick's Texan podcast goes out every Friday.
Every Friday.
I think that's where we've dialed in.
Yeah, we may switch that up. Noah's the producer and expert guest host on that. So, thanks, Des. We Remember the Texans. Excited that we just launched that, and we're gonna be turning that out every week. And the basic idea is that it's been a long, hard road as Texans fans. I worked for the team from 2007 to 13. And back in the Gary Kubiak days, and D'Amico Ryans was a linebacker on the team at that point, a Pro Bowler. Now he's the coach of the team, and so, I'm all in. I'm back in. I'm going to every home game if I can, and just trying to rediscover the team, even though it's going to be probably a long road, and just looking for silver linings. So
Yeah, a vision. You have a vision.
yeah, and we had a Moby Okoye, former Texans first round pick on last week. Noah was on the first week of. Realized I didn't know nearly as many players on the 53-man roster as I had hoped. I tried to name them all, and I got to like 17. But this week, no, I'm going to hit at least 30. That's
the goal.
So you can catch that on the Apollo HOU network, which I'm super stoked about doing that with you guys, man. We've got another podcast with my agency Scurfield group called The More You Know. It's about just what's going on in Houston, and we record that here at Apollo HOU. So my social media is just at Nick Scurfield. On everything except TikTok is Scurf Show, and YouTube as well. And my PR agency Scurfield group, I got to plug that too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. That's
plugging everything here, man.
Yeah.
I need to get down that whole long cadence that you said about like, subscribe, 5-star review, rating, whatever. I don't even know what you said. But
I don't even know what it says. It's
Yeah.
like, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, leave a 5-star review and a comment down
There you go.
below.
Yeah.
That
Like,
was pretty
subscribe.
much what I trained myself the whole year we were locked in the house when we first started the company, and we were just streaming every night, and I was just like,
You're just repeating that over and over.
It's kind of like the show Lost with the numbers. It's just kind of now just what's in my
Yeah,
head.
it's very impressive.
Yeah.
I got to say, I'll work on that.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun those days. But yeah, thanks for coming on Beyond the Diamond. Shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. Ask for Sam, he'll take care of you. And then Celebrity Mint. I'm super stoked for that one. I can't. Celebrity Mint giving me all the information like 2 weeks before they're supposed to say anything in the public. It's been killing me. Like, this is very impressive. I told Kenny, I was like, Kenny, do not give me the nuclear codes. Do not tell me this, because I will tell everyone. So you've
held it, man. You've held it in so far.
Yeah. I almost just spilled it all right there.
That's going to be a hell of a project, and we're going to be it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
I'll look forward to coming back, talking to you during the postseason. More about Celebrity Men as well.
Yeah,
So,
we'll do that for sure. Peace. Love you guys.